Hello YouTubers, welcome back to my workshop. Project we've got for you this week is this piece of spalted beech. It's really nice. I belong to the Association of Woodturners down in Hampshire, and every 3 months they have a competition. We have monthly meetings, but every 3 months they have a competition, and the competition they got this month is anything. It can be 150 by 150, and apparently the club chairman, he's going to have a piece of card with a 150 by 150 hole in it, and if it don't fit through the hole, it ain't going in the competition, which is fair enough. So, let's say this piece of spalted beech is what I'm going to use. I am going to try and keep the bark on there. It does seem quite well attached at the moment, so it should work out okay. I've drilled a hole in there already, ready to put that on my screw chuck, and first I'm going to get on there and turn it into, probably go for 140 just to be on the safe side, 140 round. So I've turned my lathe speed down to 100 and just to put the screw chuck into the wood. And then I just want to make sure that the piece at the bottom there on the left hand side is running relatively flat. And you see, I'll just give that a quick tap with the heel of my hand, just bring it round. So I then bring up my revolving centre just to make sure everything's held in nice and secure. And I've started the lathe off at its lowest speed at 100, and I'll just gradually turn that up, because that will be slightly out of balance until I start turning it round and taking the corners off. So then I come in with, I've got a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and the first thing I do is start to flatten that bottom off, and then just after I've got that nice and flat, I'll just start to bring the corners up and just start to round off the bottom of the bowl. Although the silver birch obviously is part of the birch family, the wood is quite soft. It's a very quick, fast growing tree, very open grain, and it is quite soft wood to turn. It does spalt very easily, but there is quite a marked difference between when you get the outer bark, when it all spalts, there's lovely colours running through it, but then you get the centre, which is quite a dark brown colour, and that is really hard. That wood really is. If you're turning a bowl and you've got part of that spalted wood and then you've got part of that dark wood on the outside, it really is quite difficult to turn. But so I've got here, I'm almost here now, and I've got it into a nice shape, and I just need to go through and take some clean up cuts and just finish it off. Very good. The bark stayed on there quite well. We'll just run around there with a little bit of super glue just to make sure that I don't lose that. So I've sanded that right down now to 320. That's come out incredibly smooth, I have to say. It's really nice. And because that is spalted and that tends to soak everything up, I'm going to give it a liberal coating of finishing oil before we put anything else on, and that hopefully will soak into the wood and it will form a bit of a barrier to stop anything else soaking too far into it. Let me see, already that's coming up a really pretty piece of wood. Quick buff. Now to apply some polish. Fantastic shine on that. That really is nice. So what I'm going to do now is just turn it around, hollow it out. I think it was Mark that asked about how I got it off the screw chuck. This lathe I have, just there, there's a locking pin on there, and if I lift that and twist it, that will lock that spindle up. And that's also divided up into 24 increments on the end of there, so I can lift it up, move it around one, lift it up, move it around one, if I want to do anything on this end that requires any increments. So all I've got to do then is just lock that up and just give that a twist. And it comes off straight away. So let's turn around the chuck now, it's ready for hollowing. So continue to hollow this bowl. You can see I've gone down in there, I put 75mm, forcing a bit down and through there just for expediency. And I'm just coming through now and just continue to hollow this bowl out. I did do most of it with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and you see here I've swapped out now to my hollowing tool. Just thought I'd see whether that was any easier to do it with. And although it do, as you can see, it removed quite a lot of wood very quickly. It was in fact easier with using the chisel. I was struggling to get into the bottom of this bowl actually, because I think it was mainly because of the uneven edge of the outside bowl. And I was very conscious that I could, if I move too far forward, that's going to come around and slam into the side of my hand. It's a lot easier if you have a constant edge to a bowl, because you know exactly whereabouts you can put your hands. But when that's moving backwards and forwards, it is very difficult to go a little bit too far forward, and that can be very painful. So it's just a matter of carrying on now, just going through, hollowing the bottom of this bowl, taking the wall thickness down and getting a nice clean even surface. It's quite funny, when I started turning bowls, it used to take me about 2 weeks to be scratching around doing this. Something I can now do in about 20 minutes. Very relaxing, very enjoyable. I apologise for this because I was struggling to see in the bottom of this bowl when I put a head torch on, and unfortunately it's too bright and the glare is cutting everything out. But it's only for a very short piece. It's got a little bit left to take out of the bottom of there now. I'm quite pleased with that. So I finished turning this bowl. I'm very pleased with that. I've still got the foot left on there. I need to take that off in a minute. So what I'm going to do now is apply some gold leaf to the inside. Just give that a little bit of bling. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply some size. Now it does say on the instructions on there that you make sure that all porous surfaces are sealed. And what I've done is I've put some sanding sealer on there. And I've not done that before. I hope it's right. 2 chances. So now I just apply, I've got a fine paintbrush, and I'm just going to go around and apply this size. This is an acrylic size. It says it lasts for 24 hours and it will still stick in that time. You really want to make sure you cover every single tiny little piece of this, or else you'll end up with holes in your gold leaf, which obviously we don't want. It's gone very well, this. As you see, it gives you that milky white finish, so you can see where it's been applied. I'll leave that for 15 minutes to go tacky. And the good thing with that one is it's acrylic based. Wash your brushes out in warm soapy water. So now to applying the gold leaf. This is fake gold leaf. It's I don't know the price of proper gold leaf. I'm guessing it's pretty expensive. I bought this off the internet. I think it was 250 sheets for it was copper, gold and silver. Relatively cheap. And so as you see, I've just picked it up, put it inside. This is only the second time I've used this, and I do find it very difficult. Both times I've used it on the inside of bowls, and I do find it very difficult to put it in without cracking. Probably what I need to do is go back and watch another tutorial. I have one of my wife's soft makeup brushes there, and I'll just use that just to push that down onto the sides, just to make sure it sticks. And that'll do that. A nice soft brush, that'll push that down without actually tearing the foil. Another sheet just put on the other side. It looks silver, that one, but it is gold. It's very difficult trying to apply this. Concentrate on what I'm doing and trying to watch the camera to make sure that you've got a good view as well. Obviously you see from this I didn't succeed with that one. I know when I looked at the tutorials, they do a lot of the guys on there, they have these special knives, very long, thin knives, almost like a palette knife. I think I might invest in one of those next time I do this. So I'm guessing if you put in long, thin strips, they would go on a lot easier than trying to force a big sheet to go around a curve. So I continued all the way around like this until the whole of the inside was covered. You see the whole of the inside is now covered, and I just went around with the brush just to burnish all the gold up, and it takes off any of the loose leaf that's in there, and it just pushes it all down nice and tight up against the wood. Here I'm just going around the rim, just cleaning off any excess gold leaf. Because the great thing about this is if there's no size on there, it won't stick. So when you do coat the inside of the bowl with the size, just be very careful you don't get anywhere around the rim, or else you're going to end up with little bits of gold leaf stuck there, which you don't want. But there you go, YouTubers. A lovely little bowl made from a piece of spalted silver birch with gold leaf inside. Nice little bit of bling. Who can resist a bit of bling? Quite a nice little project, and that should fit the criteria of being smaller than 150 by 150. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So I certainly enjoyed making it, and I'll see you all again next week. You take care of yourself. I will put some stills up at the end if you just want to have a look at it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.